Once upon a time, retirement planning was simple. You would retire, then cash out of the stock market, leave the risk behind, and move into bonds paying 6 to 8%. Those days are long gone. If you live in Phoenix and are retiring soon, you know this dilemma only too well. Today, you're lucky to get 2% on a quality bond. The solution? Do what smart, logical retirees are doing. They're making the move for their IRA rollover to the next generation of principal-protected, low-cost, high-income annuities through IQ Wealth Management in Scottsdale. Best-selling author, leading financial advisor, and the host of Mastering Money on Money Radio, Steve Jurich, is the trusted advisor that you are looking for. Let's listen in on a recent broadcast of his popular show, Mastering Money. At any point throughout, you can visit our website by clicking the little circle with the eye in the top right corner.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Financial Review on Money Radio. I'm Sinclair No. Thanks for joining us today. A goal of every investor is to maximize the rate of return you're getting while minimizing the amount of risk you're taking. There is no single investment today, anywhere, that will give you everything you want all in one asset. High returns, high liquidity, superb income with low or no risk. It's the old 2 out of 3 principle that engineers and architects know so well. When manufacturing and marketing a product, all companies know that the consumer is generally looking for a combination of a low price, remarkable cutting-edge features, and, of course, long-term durability backed by a lifetime guarantee. Everything works out fine, as long as the customer understands he or she can only get 2 out of the 3. You can get a low price and durability, but don't expect cutting-edge features. You'll need to settle for an iPhone model from 2 years ago, for example. Brand new, but not the iPhone 7 that comes out soon. Or you can get cutting-edge features and long-term durability. Just don't expect a low price. As consumers, when it comes to big-ticket important decisions, most of us have learned that long-term durability and good functionality ends up costing us the least in the long run. Cheap can be expensive in the long run. Of course, that doesn't stop us. We all still love a low price. Me too. It works the same way with investing. You want 20% returns with 100% guaranteed safety and 100% liquidity. Here's the problem. You'll never find everything you're looking for in one single investment. The challenge for today's affluent investor is to properly and wisely allocate your money into specific areas and types of investments where each investment has its own strength over the other, and when taken as a whole, your goals are being met. So, how do you do that? Best-selling author and certified income specialist Steve Jurich works closely with retiring engineers, teachers, managers, business owners, healthcare professionals, attorneys, and accountants to help build, grow, and protect their life savings. Steve has trademarked a retirement strategy known as the IQ Wealth Safer Buckets Retirement System, which separates and segregates capital by function and is designed to achieve more income with less risk using fewer dollars, thereby leaving more assets available for long-term equity growth. Steve is an authority on annuities and heads IQ Wealth Advisory, LLC in Scottsdale, a registered investment advisor. His comments have been seen on Bloomberg, MarketWatch, and CNBC.com. His resource team includes certified financial planner, MBA, and certified investment management analyst Murray Titterington. Also, CPA Nick Stefaniak and estate attorney and MBA Richard Dwarnick. Steve, how are you today?
Sinclair, doing just great today. How are you doing?
Doing good, sir. Good to talk to you again.
Didn't it, a little bit today?
Yeah, it's almost nippy out there, right? Hey, Steve,
Yeah.
Safety, yield, liquidity.
Right.
Once upon a time, it seemed like you could get all three in one investment. What happened?
a little thing called a worldwide deflation happened after a big bubble of assets, of course, first created in the 80s and 90s. And part of the 90s, of course, were healthy growth brought about by tremendous innovations in technology, where you really did have things that improved production and created jobs. So much of the time you hear both Democrats and Republicans wanting to say it's this president or that president. It's really not. I mean, if you stop and take a look at it, the technology of the 80s and 90s, tremendous innovations, and that's where the people who were in their 20s, 30s, and 40s getting great six-figure jobs, and those jobs lasted 30 years, that's where you built up the baby boomers of today who are now in their 50s, 60s, and going on to their 70s now. They were in a once, perhaps in a lifetime situation where you just had a renaissance and a tremendous innovation in technology that actually did drive the world's economy. And then, of course, you had in the 2000s, we had, as we know, a buildup of debt, creating an incredible bubble in the real estate markets, where people could get signature loans for $1 million to buy a house. There were, I think on record, they said over 1,000 cases of babysitters in San Francisco that got $1 million loans on their signature to buy houses back in that time frame. So we know that was a huge bubble. It created bets on the bubble, which are known as derivatives. That big crash was a big comeuppance for debt. It's what we needed, really, but we are feeling it. This is the big deflation afterwards. Many people would want to think that, well, we had our crash, we paid our dues, and so it's all over and it's all better now. Not so much. We are in a situation now where we are in a global deflation, which is still in a big recoiling and a Newtonian response to the 80s and 90s. And that's what happened. When deflation occurs, it's like the 1930s. When inflation occurs, of course, it's like the 1970s. We're in that deflation, and we can see what's going on around the world. The stronger currencies right now, the United States, Germany, and the Swiss currencies, both Germany and Switzerland, of course, we know are in negative territory with interest rates. Why? Because people are throwing their money at those currencies, and if you come to a government saying, I want your bonds so bad, I'm willing to pay you to store my money, that's what will happen, and that's what is happening, and it's not good for Switzerland. We reported that on Mastering Money this week about Switzerland doesn't like having that strong a currency. Sounds like it's a great idea.
But it makes it tough for Swiss exports.
That's right. You ask the CEO of Swatch Watch, he's going crazy. He says, this is ridiculous. Our products are so expensive compared to others worldwide. Same thing, Nestle versus Hershey, et cetera. So it's a curse. And so people are now caught in the middle of it, and they need to understand there are three components in your investment selections, and that's the construction, the capability of the assets that you own or intend to own, and then the environment, both that you're in now, but the environment you are most likely heading into. And it doesn't look like a quick fix for deflation anytime soon, especially not when Janet Yellen starts hinting that, hey, even the USA may go negative on interest rates. What that means is that saver that figured 15 years ago that, hey, one day I'm going to be out of all this stock market anxiety, I'm just going to sit on the porch, travel around the world, and collect my 6 or 7% from 10-year treasuries or my 5% from muni bonds. It just, of course, has not materialized. And so that has put us in a spot, and that is what happened. People want explanations. It's as simple as that. We're in a global deflation right now.
And certainly that's confirmed by Chair Yellen's testimony this past week before Congress, where she said the Federal Reserve has looked at negative interest rates, not that they're really planning on instituting that anytime soon.
Right.
I'm sure they'd like to avoid it for a while, but at the same time, Fed's not probably going to be raising rates anytime soon.
Right.
We are locked into this low interest rate environment, and a lot of it has to do with the global economy.
Right.
So then the question is, do you think these low rates on bonds have been part of the reason that so many people look to annuities, in whether it's for their IRAs or their 401k rollovers?
I'm almost completely certain of that, Sinclair. The fact is that many of the clients I have right now who I know and like, and we are in great relationships with, they love their annuities now that they understand them. They didn't when they came in, and we may have never met. We laugh about it. If bonds were still paying 6 or 7%, we may never have made the acquaintance.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and but smart people
bonds
live
are
in the
not
real
paying
world.
6 or 7%.
What's that?
Bonds are not paying 6 or 7%. I mean, a 10-year bond, you're looking at maybe 1.7%.
Yeah. You probably get a good deal on a Greek bond right now.
Yeah, right.
Pretty good high interest rate. But then we're back to the 2 out of 3 formula we talked about, where you're not going to get safety, yield, and liquidity all together, all in one place anymore. And so that's where the segregation and separation of capital into wise and well thought out different, we call it buckets, different segregations of capital, each with its own function, each with its own time deadline for achieving the goal we're after. We just think that makes a lot more sense.
And really, the rules of investing are very different in the accumulation phase than they are in the retirement phase.
Oh, absolutely.
And you have developed the IQ Wealth Safer Buckets system. Mm-hmm. That's designed to handle all phases of a person's financial plan.
That's right. I mean, what we do, we base every decision for our client on the idea of purpose of their money, their own personal principles about how much risk they want to take and what they want to see happen over the next 5, 10, 15 years. We want to work within their priorities, not ours, not the advisors. And we like to work on irrefutable logic and simple math. That combination goes a long way toward people feeling really settled and really secure about where they're going financially. And like you mentioned, you start out in that accumulation phase from your 20s, into your 50s or early 60s. You go from 40 years of employment to perhaps 30 or 40 years of unemployment. And one of the spouses in the household may be needing another 45 years of income coming their way on unemployment. Mm-hmm. That means your money.
If you would like to retire and stay retired, click the link to hear the rest of the show or to visit the website and learn more about making the move to the next generation of principal-protected, low-cost, high-income annuities through IQ Wealth Management in Scottsdale. Click the link now.